Hi guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric. Today is Tuesday, November 20th, and I am here today for my week 46 post-op VSG update. So to start off with stats, again, my name is Grace. I am 5'8", 28 years old, and on January 2nd, 2018, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG weight loss surgery. My highest weight ever recorded was 354 pounds in May of 2017. I was required by my insurance to do a 6-month medically supervised weight loss diet, and over the course of that 6 months, I lost 35 pounds, so my starting weight, day of surgery, was 319 pounds. Last week, I came at you with a weight of 205.5, and this morning I weighed in at 203.1, so that is a weekly loss of 2.4 pounds, a loss since surgery of 115.9 pounds, and a loss since my highest weight of 150.9 pounds. I just realized as I was reading out those stats that I think that my most recent goal was 204.5, and I forgot to check. So I may or may not have hit my most recent milestone, my next milestone. I want to say it's 204.5. It's basically 75% of my excess body weight lost. So I'll do some calculations afterwards, and we'll put a little thing here if it was. But you might have also noticed that my intro changed a little bit because yesterday was my birthday, so I am officially 28 years old now. I am awesome, and I managed to do that intro on the first try. I can guarantee you I'm gonna mess up some of the future ones. But yeah, I had a good birthday. Was extra excited to see that loss on the scale, 2.4 pounds in a week. That's great because I've had some low loss weeks, you'll know if you've been watching me. And like I celebrated my birthday last night. I mean, I didn't go too crazy, but I had a coconut mojito, which was chock full of sugar, and I had carnitas something. No, not carnitas. I had pernil, which I had some pulled pork basically, and gosh, tostones, and God, I'm like totally blanking on the words. Basically, I had plantains, both the sweet kind and the fried kind, either way, like they're plantains, so it's carbs. And I did have some tembleque, which is like a coconut flan for dessert. And none of those things I had a lot of, but I did have a whole mojito. Anyways, I enjoyed myself. I'm on my period. I tend to have a tighter restriction on my period, which was definitely true last night. I barely ate anything really, but yeah, anyways, I was excited and happy to see that loss after last night. Period. So, we're gonna get to the portion of the video where we talk about my period and bowel movements. So if you don't want to listen, then why are you watching these videos, you guys? You know that we talk about bodily functions. Anyways, so I mentioned last week that I was having some gastrointestinal distress. I'm almost positive it has to do with my period. So, some context. Before surgery, I was taking metformin for my diabetes. Metformin, if you don't know, has a lot of gastrointestinal side effects. So basically, like, since I had been taking it for a year and was pretty much no solid bowel movements for that whole year. To the point where, like, there were a few times I was in meetings where I was like, I'm gonna shit my pants as an adult. Like, that's how much it can mess with you. So all of that to say, my system was already kind of messed up from being on that medication before surgery. So I don't really know what my bowel movements would have been like without it. Then I stopped taking it 2 weeks before surgery, never took it again. And since surgery, I have had very solid bowel movements. Like, almost too solid, like it's fine. Like I've had a couple of instances of almost constipation, but nothing really bad. I don't currently take anything. I don't take Miralax or Docusate sodium or stool softeners. I don't take any of that. I did take it for like the first 6 months, Docusate sodium, but I haven't needed it since then. I have one about once a day. It is fairly firm and, requires some effort to get out, if you will. But for basically 10 and a half, almost 11 straight months, very solid. With the exception of around my period, and I've talked with enough of my friends to know that this is not uncommon, things would like kind of loosen up a little bit. Not like crazy since surgery, but definitely like you could tell there was different movements. So fast forward to this period that I started on Saturday. So I woke up with Saturday morning basically like, oh my God, I've not had to go this badly in months, like since surgery. Again, like it was, you know, basically diarrhea. I was like, again, I'm gonna poop the bed. It was all fine. Don't worry, guys. But there were some close calls. And I mean, it was an event. And I was like, what is going on? This has not happened to me since surgery. And then like an hour later, I started my period and I was like, oh, okay. So this is it. It's the period. This happens to me every time. Not this extreme, but it does happen. Anyways, since then, I'm still on my period. I'm on like, right, it was Saturday, so I'm like on day 3, 4. I'm like, this is the last day, probably. But since then, no, sorry, it was Sunday. Sorry, it was Sunday, so this is day 3. It's been kind of continuing. I have just really been clearing everything out, which I think is part of why I had such a big loss, to be honest. I think, I'm just pretty empty in there right now. But, yeah, it's been a whole thing. And I think it does have to do with hormones because, like I was saying, my diet has not changed, like, at all. You know, there are tiny fluctuations, but there have been tiny fluctuations for the past 10 months. You know, generally speaking, I'm generally eating about how I've been eating for the past several months. So I don't think it's food related. I've added nothing new in. But yeah, just some of those lovely things. I didn't want to mention it because I don't talk about poop very often because it's not like my favorite conversational topic, but it is relevant. So I thought I would keep you all updated. I know you guys are super invested. Yeah, what else? Oh, so my 5K is in 2 days. It's on Thursday, Thanksgiving morning, 9 a.m. I am nervous. I have noticed I've actually been having a bit of hip pain, hip joint pain. The past like couple of times after I've run on the treadmill, I can like feel on my right hip, like almost like where the joint is. Like you can almost feel the socket. It's just a little bit of discomfort only when I'm walking. If I'm running, it's fine. And if I'm sitting and not moving, it's fine. But when I'm walking, it just kind of like rubs. And it's for like the next 24 hours, but like usually when I sleep and I wake up the next morning, it's fine. So I don't know what that's about. If it like continues and it gets bad, like I'll bring it up with my doctor. But yeah, so I'll definitely let you guys know next weekly update how it went and if I finished it. Hopefully, knock on wood. Otherwise, things have been progressing fairly normally. I've been chatting with some of my WLS friends, and we've been talking about all the goodies at work that are, you know, they've been kind of coming since Halloween, and they're going to keep coming all through Christmas. And so I've decided to kind of implement this rule for myself, at least, that because like I have a lot of people in the office bake and bring in baked goods, and then we also have a lot of just like shit around from like stores. Trader Joe's is really close, so we get a lot of Trader Joe's stuff. And it's sort of like there's the main kitchen where people leave things, and then for each of the different teams, there's kind of like a snack table. I'm really lucky in that the snack table is for my thing is right behind where I sit, but most people on my team are like more health conscious, and so we actually don't have a lot of shit. I think right now on our snack table it's multivitamins. Someone left multivitamins and seaweed crisps, which I hate, so it's good. But like there's me, there's another girl who just had bariatric surgery, there's someone who does keto, there's someone who can't have gluten, there's someone who is pregnant and has gestational diabetes. So it's like we have all these people who like have dietary things. So I'm lucky in that instance. But like I can still walk by and eat anything I want. And I don't want to do that. So the whole point is I made this rule for myself where if it is a food that was like brought in from the store that like I could buy for myself whenever I wanted, I don't get to eat that. Like I'm not allowing myself to eat that because if I really want it, and I think on it, I can go and buy it myself. It's not going to disappear. It is a food that I am more than capable of eating on my own time should I really so desire. But if it is like a baked good that I really want to try, like a homemade thing, I'm allowing myself to have one bite or the equivalent of one bite of whatever good it is. So if someone brings in cookies, I can have like a quarter or half of a cookie. I can have like a bite of pie, that kind of thing. Because I know if I go so far as to be like, you can't have any of it, that's when my mind goes into scarcity mode, and then I end up sneaking into the kitchen and eating 15 cookies when I just want a bite. So for me, at least right now, that is my plan to tackle the holiday things. And there's rarely like 18 things at a time. So it's not like I'll be like, oh, I'll have one bite of 18 cookies. You know, there's usually like a couple of things a week, maybe. So that is my plan. I'm also planning to do some keto low carb baking and bring some things in because I like to bake and I've been wanting to play around with some of those recipes, but I know that even though they are healthier for me, that stuff is something that I have a hard time controlling myself around. So if I were to make like keto cookies, I would eat all of them, which is not good. So I'm gonna make keto cookies, eat a couple, and bring them in for my coworkers. Especially because I have a girl who, like I said, there's someone doing keto at my work who is basically like she's doing kind of lazy keto. And by that, like, she doesn't do anything special. She's not doing any baked goods. So like, she's basically just eating like meat and cheese and hating it. So she told me she would totally eat any of the keto things I bring in for her. So yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to talk about. Thanksgiving is Thursday. I'm thinking I might do that again. Like I said, that is the day of my my 5K. So I'm going to try to do like a what I eat in a day, follow me around for that video or for that day. But it's all going to depend because like there's going to be other people around. So it might just not work out if they don't want to be on camera. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are having a wonderful November. If you are in the US, I hope you guys have a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic Thanksgiving. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.